In 1982, Byron Preiss published this book. It contains 12 images and 12 verses. When you match the image and corresponding verse, it reveals the location of a casque. Inside the casque is a key. When the key is returned to the Preiss family, the finder is awarded a precious gem. This is the secret of treasure hunt. Hey everyone, today we're talking about Image 3, Verse 11. This image represents English immigrants, and it's also the solve. I'll tell you right now, right up front, it's the northern part of Roanoke Island, and I'm telling you this right now, right up front, because I want to go there this summer. Planning on going there this summer, and so like, subscribe, and I want everyone to leave comments. Anything that I mess up, any other solves that you have, let me know about it, because I don't want to go down there and have 2 days or a day down there to look for this thing, and I want to make my time as efficient as I possibly can. So let me know everything so I can go down there and check it out. So let's just jump right in. So here's the image. This is a great painting with a lot of small details. This is also one of those that looks like it has a lot more than what's actually been discovered. There's all kinds of cracks over here on the walls. There's all kinds of stuff in this image. All of the little things that are hanging from the arms, the structure behind it. There's just a lot of stuff here that looks like that doesn't have a solve. And, so anybody just leave any messages about if you know what any of this stuff is. So let's start with the more obvious location markers and just go through and look at where the general location is, and then we'll narrow it down from there. So the right arm of this knight, the lower part of the right arm of the knight, actually aligns with the coastline of North Carolina. The fingers extend beyond the margin to represent the Outer Banks, and you can see how the fingers align here with the coastline as well. The archway behind the knight is nearly exactly the same as the entrance to Elizabeth Gardens at the north edge of Roanoke Island. And if we zoom out, we can see Roanoke Island is shown in the crack on the wall next to the knight. So this points us to the northern part of Roanoke Island, North Carolina, and possibly to the Elizabethan Garden. The knight's chestplate also resembles a crossbow, and there are a lot of different solves for this. A lot of people see different things in the chestplate, so go out there and look them up. But there were supposedly a lot of crossbows that were on display at the Fort Riley National Historic Site. There are also a lot of bells in the image. The bells in the image may represent Albert Quentin Bell, who designed the Waterside Theater at Fort Riley National Historic Site. The Waterside Theater is even known as the house that Skipper Bell built. And there's a plaque right here with Albert Bell's name on it and describes it. So we have references here to Roanoke Island, the northern part of Roanoke Island, the Elizabethan Gardens, the Fort Riley National Historic Site, the Waterside Theater. So this casque is definitely buried on the northern part of Roanoke Island. So let's take a look at the verse and see where that leads us. So the beginning of the verse is very interesting. It says, "Past two friends of Octave." So this reference is to Octave Chanute, and his two friends are Orville and Wilbur Wright, the Wright brothers. The first powered flight occurred on the Outer Banks right here. And there's even a Wright brothers memorial to memorialize the event. In December, ride the Man of Oz. To the land near the window, there's a road that leads to dark forest. In December, I'm not really sure what that means. There were a few solves that I read out there, but I didn't really understand what they mean. That they didn't really match up for me. I didn't really like them that much, so I just left them out. You can go ahead and look them up. But right after that, so we know that we're starting at the Wright Brothers Memorial. It looks like that from the image. So if we start there, a possible next move would be to look at the helmet of the image. So this helmet kind of looks like a horse. Just south of the Wright Brothers Memorial is Nag's Head. So if this is the Nag, then you would obviously head south. And that makes sense for the rest of the verse. So the next part of the verse says, "Ride the Man of Oz." So the man that wrote The Wizard of Oz was L. Frank Baum. And just south of Nag's Head is the bridge that goes from the Outer Banks over to Roanoke Island, and this is the Washington Bomb Bridge. To the land near the window, there's a road that leads to Dark Forest. So it looks like this just says, take the road that leads to Dark Forest. So what's Dark Forest? So the Dark Forest is actually written right here on the last line of the plaque for the entrance to the Elizabethan Garden. The entrance to the Elizabethan Gardens, as we saw before, is almost an exact match with the archway in the image. Next we have where white is in color with two maps. John White was the governor of the first colony in Roanoke Island. Paul Green wrote The Lost Colony, the play that is performed every year at the Waterside Theater. There's also a sign at the ticket booth that shows this watercolor that was painted by John White. So at this point, let's talk about an interesting story. This is about the Lost Colony. The Lost Colony was a group of about 115 English settlers that arrived in Roanoke Island in 1587. So they arrived there, they set up camp, and John White, the governor, actually had to leave and was going to go back to England and get some supplies and then come right back, which would have been a long trip anyway, right? But there was actually a war between England and Spain at the time, and he got caught up in that war and was gone for 3 years. When he finally returned after 3 years, there was nothing left. There wasn't anybody there. There was nothing left of their settlement. All that was left were 2 trees that had been carved, one carved with Croatoan and one carved with crow. And what's suspected, and there's actually been some recent archaeological finds that have found that this is probably true, that the settlers of the time actually went to live with the Croatoan native tribe of the area, which was a friendly tribe that they could have gone and integrated with. So that's kind of the story, but no one knows what happened. We're finding out now with this new archaeological find that that's probably what happened. Another interesting story with this is the story of Virginia Dare. So this was John White's granddaughter, who is the first person born on American soil or on the New World soil from 2 English parents. So it was the first English person born in America. And her name was Virginia Dare, and she was one of these settlers that disappeared and nobody really knows what happened. So back to the verse, we have, after circle and square, in July and August, a path beckons to mica and driftwood. So after circle and square, you can see here is the roundabout and the parking lot leading into the National Historic Site. In July and August is the first line of the Virginia Dare Memorial that is on site at the National Historic Site. A path beckons to mica and driftwood. A path beckons to mica and driftwood just seems to be the path that goes from the National Historic Site down to the Waterside Theater that's on the way towards the beach. Under that which may be last touched or first seen standing. Under that which may be last touched. The last thing that was touched by the settlers was a tree. The last thing that they did was carve Croatoan and crow into trees. Also, the first thing seen, if you are sailing in the ocean and you're coming across an island, the first thing that you're going to see are the tops of the trees. So this is a reference to trees, and most likely the trees that, or at least a location where they thought that the Croatoan and the crow were carved into the trees. Look north at the wing and dig, to achieve by dauntless and inconquerable determination your goal. So look to the north to the wing is a reference back to the Wright brothers. If you look out across the ocean from the Waterside Theater, you see the Wright brothers memorial is a wing, and you can see that from there. So this is a reference to the Wright brothers and actually gives you kind of a location along the beach where that is. So this is kind of where we run into trouble. So if we're looking out across the ocean, then we're on the beach. then the cask was buried right there on the beach, or at least close to the beach, and there have been several hurricanes that completely washed that area out. So if the cask was buried there, it's long gone. However, a lot of people go back to the tree, where you look under the tree and dig at the tree. A fiberglass tree that is used now that has crow marked on it, that is stationed at the Waterside Theater. So this could be a possible area you would have to dig, but that tree has also been moved around a couple times, so you'd have to find out exactly where it was in 1981 when Byron Preiss actually went out and buried this. So like I said earlier, I really want to go out there this summer. So leave comments, let me know anything that I got wrong, any solves that you have, so I can be efficient when I'm out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave those comments. Thanks for watching.